Welcome to the VALT Podcast. We are your car culture cultivators. I'm Shaun, and of course, we're joined with
Vijay. Hey.
Vijay in the flesh.
Vijay is back.
Yeah, no more
good to be back.
Google Meet Vijay.
Dude, we're back like Voltron. We're forming together like Voltron.
Yeah, I don't want to leave after this.
Yes, we're happy to have him for at least a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm Joe, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but without further ado, we'll get into some news. There's some news going on. I guess Ferrari is pushing back their EV car, which is obvious. I think we saw this coming.
Yeah.
But Vijay, why don't you take us through this for a minute?
This whole EV sports car, hypercar thing has really cooled down over the last 5 years or so. Like when they initially showed up on the stage, there were claims of always getting 1,000 horsepower, 2,000 horsepower, amazing control, all sorts of fun stuff you could do with them in terms of, independent control of all the different wheels and axles and everything. But then once they came into the market, things like Rimac, Nivera, or the Lotus Evija, they just did not get enough of a reception from the audience because, we are in an era when most of the things are turbocharged, hybridized, and people want, when they spend such a big amount of money, they want to experience that is unique because anyone who has $50,000 could get a Tesla that accelerates from 0 to 60 in 2 seconds now.
Yeah.
So what's the novelty of an EV Ferrari, which cannot do anything special on top of that in performance terms? So you want to have something extremely exclusive like a naturally aspirated V12 or a manual transmission made it to that. So those are extremely, endangered and exclusive things that people at that price level expect.
Well, and especially with Ferrari, where you associate, performance
And drama.
with sound and passion. And I don't think we're there yet with electric cars.
I'm sure dynamically it's going to be absolutely incredible to drive. But is it going to make your heart racing?
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was obvious what Ferrari's market was. You could tell by the cars. But these days, I guess it's still kind of the same, right? It's still people looking for something passionate and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't think they should go with EVs.
At the same time, there's talk of Ferrari thinking of bringing limited production manual cars back. Because there's demand for it. Because Porsche is on top of the world now with the 911 ST and GT3 manuals. They have a very high take rate of manuals. So Ferrari might be forced to bring it back.
Oh my God, a 488 ST would be like a $7 million car or something. See, people would go crazy for that.
You think any Ferrari manual, people would just go crazy about it.
Yeah.
They can
get back Git manual like that.
Yeah, the Gordon Murray T50 is able to charge the kind of money that it does. So.
Yeah.
I think possibly once Tesla releases the Roadster, if they ever release the Roadster.
Did you put down a deposit?
What is that, 7, 8 years in the making now?
Oh, so
Did you put down a
long.
deposit?
Hell no.
$50,000 deposit.
Yeah, no way. But I think they'll set the benchmark on that kind of that EV hyper or EV super hypercar, maybe supercar I would say market. Yeah.
There comes the point where things speed becomes uninteresting, and I think we're there at
totally.
this point. A Chevy Bolt can accelerate to 20, 30 miles an hour faster than most cars on the road at this point. It's not impressive. It's really more about the experiential. That's why all these retro car companies that are rebuilding these cars are so popular. Like Singer, there's at 355, those 355 guys, the 928 one. There's so many different
190, Alfa Romeo.
There's so many cars being reproduced to try to get that visceral feeling back because the cars of today are just not there anymore.
And you can see that in the value of the market. The last naturally aspirated manual Ferraris are commanding so much more premium over the automatics for sure. So
because at the end of the day, these cars are toys. They're not used for practical reasons. So you're wanting the most experiential toy, But that's Ferrari. I hope they don't come out with an EV for a while because I just think that's going to be the end of the brand. In other news, going back to our country, Corvette unveiled a stupid, funny car.
America.
Corvette 2026 ZR1X hypercar with a rental car interior. This car has 1,250 horsepower. Talk about it. What do you think? Shaun, you buying one?
Oh, dude. So, I kind of rag on Corvettes, pretty much every week. But, when I saw the press release and all the stuff coming out about this car, I got pretty interested. This is pretty fascinating that Corvette is able to do this, pull this off. I mean, was it 1,230 horsepower? 1,250 horsepower out of an American, muscle, or not muscle car, but an American supercar. We're touching, almost a hypercar market.
Yeah, performance.
I'm sure, with
hypercar
performance. At the end of the day, I imagine it's probably going to retail for, I'd say probably somewhere between $250 in that area, minus whatever dealer markups or plus the dealer markups, I should say.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's actually pretty cool. I would be tempted to drive this.
I feel like it would be bored if you don't drive it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to drive this thing hard. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty crazy.
Yeah. No, looks wise.
Yeah.
Even the performance that you're getting out of the ZR1.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't even need E85. It's on pump gas.
On pump
it
gas,
produces 1250.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1064 from the gas engine.
Yeah. How bad of a week was it for the ZR1 guys?
I can just imagine they put their order in and they're like, this is gonna be the best car in the world. And then they're like, now the X came out with 400 more horsepower or something.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Apparently it can do 1G laterally and longitudinally at the same time. So while cornering at 1G, it can accelerate at 1G.
Nice.
that seems dangerous.
Like
for
you
your
could
body.
just pass out.
Yeah.
And what's cool is hypercar performance that you can actually drive, right? I wouldn't worry about, stock, bubble wrapping this thing and leave it in the garage somewhere. I mean, this is a perfect car to just drive the hell out of.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
at that price point.
Yeah, that's the ZR1 package also.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ZR1 has always been the car that you could use it a lot more than the Z06, which is more hardcore, probably more track oriented.
Yeah.
ZR1 has been something you could use a lot more on public roads and is softer, compliant and everything. So yep, that's the use case for the car.
Yep. Unfortunately, there will be boomers that buy these cars and put them in bubble wrap, and in 40 years we're going to see them with 3 miles on them, going for a couple $1,000 more than what they were sold for
And
new.
losing money on the S&P 100
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. But people don't care about that. But
Yeah.
that's the news today. Comment down below if you have anything else interesting that's going on this week. But yeah, the Corvette is here, and Ferrari is not making EVs, which is kind of good on both fronts. But without further ado,
Can you imagine if they made a manual version of that?
oh my God! Well, I don't even think that would be physically possible to be able to control 1,200 horsepower.
Yeah, totally.
With the manual would
Yeah.
be just you'd be constantly changing because you're losing grip so often.
Yeah.
But Vijay, how's your week been?
It's good now because I'm here.
My man.
But then, I had a nice week because the Peugeot is back on the road after a small hiccup. So I thought it was a fuel pump that was not firing, but I took it my friendly neighborhood mechanic, and he found out that it was the spark plug gaps. It had new spark plugs put in by the previous owner, who was, funnily enough, a professional. He's a professional mechanic, but he did not gap the spark plugs right. So it stopped working, and it just couldn't start up after sitting for a couple of weeks. So it was a quick fix. They took out the spark plugs and gapped them right, and
Nice.
it runs really good now.
Good.
And yeah, I
Probably
just
better
can't-
now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just can't stop driving that car. It's it gives me so much of humorous fun that I can never get in my Cayman. The Cayman is so serious and always, worried about performing the best and the best lap time and doing everything perfectly. But this car is so easygoing and fun and jovial and everything, which is much more fun.
Humorous, jovial fun. I can see you just kind of sitting in your car, just kind of giggling and driving at the same
just throw it into any. It
Yeah.
weighs 400 pounds less than the Cayman.
Nice,
So you just throw it into any corner. It just keeps sticking.
Yeah.
And it's sounds like it has an old car soul, even though it's a 91.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has that buzz and soul. And I got a Magnaflow exhaust on it, so it sounds
Nice.
decent. Yeah, everything. All the control weights are so light. It's just so French and easygoing.
Nice.
Like life is not worth living if it's too difficult. So that's why the French just wanted everything to be perfect, and the AC blows better cold air than the Cayman also, because everything has to be comfortable.
Yeah.
in their life. For them.
Yeah, I mean, driving that when I drove that car, maybe for like I think I drove for a day when we were like cleaning it up a little bit. Yeah, I mean something about like that like fizzy, like, you know, 4-cylinder is kind of exciting. I mean, it's like I mean, what else is available with that kind of engine? Like, you get that. There's a couple of, like, you know, American cars that are probably like trash other than the engine. That's the Mercedes, which is too expensive now comparatively. The E190.
Yeah.
So getting a 16 valve, you know,
maybe a Ford Cosworth.
yeah, exactly. But the interior, and also the interior is probably way shittier than the Peugeot. When you're, do you get anyone looking in your area now with the Peugeot, or people just like kind of like
nobody knows what?
No one knows what. Yeah, that makes
There's
sense.
like 3 people in the country who know what it is. So.
Yeah, that's valid. I mean, even when I was a kid, I probably wouldn't have noticed it.
Yeah, but the mechanic that I took it to, he's British, like he's totally British, and he moved here and started the shop. And he saw the car and was like so excited to see it. He was
Nice.
like,
Yeah, he's
it's an MI16. Like,
I haven't
so
seen
happy
this
to
since
see
I
it.
came
He
here.
loved working on it and everything. And
Yeah.
also, the car got selected for a Bring a Trailer display at the Road America racetrack for next month.
Nice.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'll be taking it there,
That's fun.
which is cool. I'll have to drive about 5 hours to get to the racetrack in Wisconsin, but it'll be nice.
Yeah, it would be a good way to stretch his legs. Yeah. Sean, how about your week?
Well, you know, my week started off terrible. I was just in a terrible mood. And so, you know, a way to bring myself out of a terrible mood, of course, is to hang around some cool cars. So I stopped by the Otis shop earlier this week and got to see some inventory over there. And they've got an amazing selection of inventory right now. Saw Joe, you know, working and detailing on a car, which that M5 was.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so nice.
M5?
So nice, yeah.
Which
It was a
one?
2002. 2001 or 2002. It's an E39.
Yeah.
19,500 miles on it. Carbon black, so kind of a boring color. But the nice thing about that color, even though it's the most common color you can get in M5 now, they're always repainted. The cool thing about carbon black is in certain angles it looks different colors. So sometimes it's black, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's even green in certain lights.
Yeah.
And when it's original, you get all that color change still. So 19,500 miles, it's still fully original.
Nice.
Right now it's at a shop actually, a shop that my wagon is at right now too. And they parked it right next to another E39 M5 in carbon black, and you were there when I was talking to Robert about this. Like you could tell which one has been repainted. Like you can just tell because there's no color change.
Oh, no kidding.
Like the reason why everyone wanted that color is because it's so dynamic and interesting. But anyway, yeah, we can talk about that more later. But Sean, what else? What else? Yeah.
So, and then after that, I actually got a text that read, got a little time the other day and got a bit more done on the rear fender flares and got the drift brake line connected under the car, hoping to get wrapped up this weekend.
Mercedes?
So with the Mercedes. So it's live. It's right hot off the presses. The same information I get. So hopefully that dream finally comes true.
We're getting close. I mean, this weekend, that's close.
It could be this weekend.
Yeah.
But I always say another month.
Yeah, you might as well. You might as well say that right at this point, right? Yeah.
But if I can get it before the summer, that'll be awesome. So
Yeah.
Have you been driving the Z?
I have not driven the Z. So the electric motor broke on the gate. So right now it's kind of a pain in the
Starter
no on the roll up gate.
Oh, okay.
So I have to manually just lift everything, put everything in and out or whatever, and lift the gate up, and it's kind of a headache right now. So
Yeah, it's a pain.
yeah.
And that gets slow to roll up.
It's slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's it. So hopefully it'll be a better week even next week. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, my week has just been basically work. Like Shaun was saying, I got to detail that really, really low mileage, super clean E39. It was fun. It took me the whole day.
Did you detail the Citroen SM?
No, I mean, but we did walk through that car to see if it needed to be detailed. And honestly, that car was repainted.
It's clean.
It's clean, but there's a lot of like weird, like like blemishes and stuff all over the car, and it's just not something that can be fixed with a detail. And it's beige, so like it doesn't really like when I'm like detailing cars for pre-sale purposes, I usually do like only what will make the car look better in photos, because most of the time people who are selling their cars don't want it to look like so good that they want to keep it, so I have packages specifically designed so that it looks good enough so that you're like seriously, this is what I do. Like I make polish. It's a specific package where I make it look just good enough to where it's like, damn, this is definitely adding value to the car, but not good enough to where it's like, damn, I'm having second thoughts about keeping it. So the Citroens are right in that gray zone where it's too clean.
Too bad you couldn't do that for my Peugeot. Paint.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no paint.
We got to do that.
Open up a new business in as a therapist for car owners.
Yeah. Exactly. Time to let it go. That's been cool. We're looking at a couple of Ferraris to do during Car Week. So Car Week things are starting to kind of fill up now. So
like concourse.
Yeah, concourse stuff. There's some Quail stuff that we're detailing. There's some Concorso stuff. It's typical Car Week prep. So I'm trying to take as much time in the slow time as I can, because I know in the next like month or two it's going to get really busy again, which is fine, but it is what it is. And then another thing that happened this week. So last week we talked shit about Subaru a lot, I guess, in the podcast.
Subaru drivers.
Yeah. So we basically we talked shit about it. I guess had some people comment saying like, oh, you should actually like experience the car, get to know it. And so I have a friend who works at Subaru. I asked him, can I have a loaner for the weekend? And he said, yeah. So there's a Subaru Outback Wilderness Edition out there that I get to drive, so I can feel what it's like to be a Subaru owner, so I can stop talking shit about them.
Do they still make that in manual? The cross?
Yeah. They don't make them in manual anymore, I don't think. Okay. But
what are your first impressions?
I mean, I just drove it from down. I just took it on the highway, so like right now it just feels like a car. I know that they're aggressively capable off road. I'm not going to test that, but and it feels kind of high. Like this Wilderness Edition is lifted. And I can feel it lift, I can feel like it's not supposed to be this high off the ground. Like it just feels kind of hot, like high off the ground. The infotainment is kind of garbage, but like pretty bad. But if you plug in your phone and go to a CarPlay, it doesn't really matter that much.
Pretty outdated interiors.
Yeah,
in those cars.
I like the Wilderness Edition has like a waterproof vinyl, which feels super cheap. I know that like there are like trim levels that have Napa leather upholstery, which is nice, and like Napa leather is like a good quality leather. So I kind of want to sit in those too. But this car kind of feels more rugged for sure, and it's supposed to feel rugged because of the package it has. But I don't know. I'm driving it today. Allie's taking it for a work trip tomorrow to Sacramento, so she'll be able to experience it, and then I'm going to have her drive it to St. Mary's Cars and Culture on Sunday, because the wagon is out of commission, which is my next update, because I'm getting a whole bunch of work done to it for a road trip. So I guess I have no transmission yet. The transmission is still leaking. I'm going to do everything but that. I'm going to wait until it's like basically
Car Week.
Yeah, I need to drop the transmission, replace there's a lot of stuff while you're in there, so I'm kind of just like getting that sorted. But
okay.
I'm taking the E28 to the St. Mary's Cars and Culture. She'll be taking the Subaru, and yeah, that's it really. I mean, like the wagon's at the shop getting a whole bunch of work done, so I'm really looking forward to getting that sorted. But other than that, that's been the week.
I will tell you, being here in the Berkeley, Albany area, is a Subaru wagon is like a hero car for this area.
Yeah.
So, like really.
Yeah. I mean,
habitat of that car.
I do feel like I'm part of the group here. I mean, that one has the turbo engine, so I'm kind of curious. I haven't driven it hard, but like it should have like close to 300 horsepower. So I want to see what that's like, because I'm only used to Outbacks with like 150 horsepower. So
speaking of which, my friends. WRX STI just blew a head gasket.
Yeah, honestly, with the Cars and Bids listing writing, I've been doing a lot of WRXs. I get like randomly assigned cars,
Yeah.
and I shit you not, almost every single WRX that or STI like with that boxer engine that I've written, if it's been modified, it's had an engine replacement. like every single, like literally I've done like maybe 15, 20. Every single one of them has had an engine replacement. It makes me wonder if like, apparently the engines are great unless you start pushing boosts through them. So it's good to know. I mean, like if you want WRX or STI, just leave it stock, because if you start sending boost through it, you're popping these engines. Like every single one of these cars in their service history has a long block replaced or a short block done. It's just like, what do you mean? Like the whole engine's been replaced. Like I don't understand how this is a thing. It's like just how it is.
You know what I do love about every like WRX or STI is they age perfectly, right? They look the part. Like no matter how old they are, it's like every one of them looks good.
Yeah, they do.
On the road.
And that's what makes me like intrigued by them. Like I've always, ever since I was in high school, every time I saw a WRX or an STI, I'm like, I feel like that would be a fun experience.
Yeah.
Like I like the weird engineering with the boxer engine that's low in the engine bay, and like I just like that it's odd. You know, it's not like regular. It's unusual.
Yeah.
And so I like that. And the Outback has the same engine, just it's low, it's weird, it's odd. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's not my, you know, I mean, I probably will never own one, but it'd be fun to drive it for a little bit. But that's the week. Anything else before we get into the member Discord finds?
That's it. I'm good.
Cool.
Let's go.
So I wonder if K cars in the country now have become massively more valuable.
You know what? I was actually reading an article on the K trucks in the U.S. It was on Yahoo, just talking about how popular they've become and how usable they are. And, you know, the states that, you know, obviously that allow them, the states that don't. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, they're becoming legal in other states.
Yeah.
Like even Oregon legalized it, Colorado, Texas, they all legalized it.
Yeah, it's at St. Mary's College. If you drive around the campus, they use K cars, modern K cars, but K cars for janitor stuff and like building work.
Yeah.
Like if you drive around the campus, you see like modern versions of what we have, just like in the back, like with like tools and stuff on them. So like they do exist. I don't know if they're registered. I'm not even sure if they're legally here, but like there are K cars all over St. Mary's. They're just in the back.
I mean, those things are like proven workhorses, right?
Yeah, they just work, and they're tiny, so you can put them in tiny places.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that brings us into the member Discord finds. So yeah, link down in the description below to the Patreon. There you get access to a bunch of different things, including access to the Discord where we post member finds. We announce drive sim nights, F1 viewing parties, poker nights, you name it. This month we got some stuff going on in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, the St. Mary's Cars and Culture is happening this weekend.
Yes.
We'll do a lunch after, all that stuff. And then the weekend after that, probably do a poker night. It'll be fun. But without further ado, we'll get straight into the Discord finds. So the first one is this 2000 Toyota Crown wagon. Wow. I think I found this. But I was just kind of like browsing through, and I feel like we always say that there's like a interesting car for the price. And I think for $9,000, you have something really quirky and interesting with wool interior. For the price of like a Clap E36, I think this is kind of like a fun, interesting thing to own. Probably wouldn't want to keep it long term because I bet it's pretty boring, but it's just a weird, quirky car.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of these? I've never actually seen a Crown in person, I don't think.
One JZ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a V8, I think, right? One
You
GZ.
got pretty low miles on it out of a Toyota. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, with the wool interior. The wool interior is what did it for
cool.
me.
Looks
It's
clean
cool.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So I found that one and thought it was a cool thing to talk about. So number 2 is this 1979 Lincoln Continental. So this is a Mark V. For some reason,
oh my God.
I mean, like, I don't know. Look at this. Look at this.
This is the air suspension thing
It
that
has the hydraulics on it too. Yeah.
it does a jump.
Totally.
So I don't know. I do like the hideaway headlights. I think those are cool, or pop-up headlights,
Yeah.
I guess. I think this car is a future collectible, not like with this
With the
going on,
hydraulics.
but like a straight stock one.
Yeah.
God, I didn't.
Scraping in the back.
Yeah, I didn't look at these pictures. I thought it was a factory one. Obviously, this is on hydraulics.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
It's a
interesting-
lifestyle, bro.
It's a lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to really understand this. And most people don't. Most people who watch us definitely don't.
Yeah.
But, to each their own. I think this is kind of cool, especially in stock form. It'd be cool.
If it was stock, it'd be.
Yeah.
I saw
really
a video
cool.
of one of these doing those front end jumps, and the axle just fell off.
Yeah.
It's too funny.
Some people, yeah. I mean,
I love how excited he is that it has a moonroof.
I will not respond to is this still available?
moonroof, brand new headliner.
Moonroof.
Yeah. 53 miles on the dash means it's not real.
So
Not
what
true.
do you tell them if how do you ask them if this is still available?
You don't.
So you just pay them first?
Yeah. Yeah, you send them. You basically it's unavailable. Like if you try to buy this car, they'll just not respond to you.
Yeah.
I hate when people do that so much. It's so annoying. It's like, what do you mean? Then I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Facebook Marketplace is a cesspool.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's quite. It's disgusting.
But the reality is like, is it still available? It's just an automated message that Facebook just
Yeah.
populates.
But
So
like,
it's-
here's the thing. Like, if you want to view a car, and you reach out to the seller saying, "Hi, I'm interested in taking a look at this car. Is it available? Can I come and book? Can I come and see it?" Like, they're like, I mean, if they're not going to respond to it, like, what's the point of even listening to the car? Which half of these people don't. Like, when I was interested in buying some cars on Marketplace, I would just like message the people and be like, "Hi, is this available? I'd love to come see it," and they just never respond because people just want like the "I'll give you like I'm buying it, like need to tell me when and where." It's dumb.
yeah.
I think they're just testing the market.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're just like getting their car ready for like bring a trailer or cars and bids or something.
Yeah,
Like
well, I mean, if you've sold on Facebook Marketplaces, God, as you know, just the amount of bullshit that you get. I mean, sometimes it gets really, I wouldn't say hard, it gets annoying selling a car.
that. Yeah.
Because some people just want, they'll come up with bullshit offers, even though they haven't test drove the car, looked at the car or anything. And it's irritating.
It's like a sport at this point to lowball people. And so
Totally.
I know that I know people who like will just do that. Just like, well, if you lowball 1,000 people, one of them's gonna say yes,
Yeah.
and you can flip it. I'm like, yeah, I guess. But speaking of hydraulics, this is a 1991 Citroen BX 19 TZI. So if you rewatch the video, obviously it's not the same as the car that we just saw, but it does have hydraulic suspension, hydrodynamic suspension.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting one. $7,000. Kind of seems like a really cool thing for $7,000.
I drove the diesel version of this. Yeah.
What was it like?
It's definitely a Citroen. Like the engine is the most unremarkable thing ever. But the ride is like the most remarkable thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird steering wheel, weird interiors, all that.
Once again,
Citroen stuff.
really awkward looking car.
That is not a good looking car.
But,
It's
like,
really nice.
It's
the
very
vibe
froggy.
is, the vibe is correct. Like the hydraulics are working. It's cool. I mean, I would love to see this at a Cars and Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a car you can drive once and then not own it.
Yeah. Yep. That's definitely a drive. Yep. Yep. So that's another fine. Number 4, if I have my numbers right. So this is E38. What makes this thing special is the interior color. So it's a plum interior. So I don't know if you can't tell from the photo probably that well, but it's like, I don't know the specific color, but it's like a purple interior, which is super cool.
It's like a blueberry color.
Yeah. So this is like a pretty rare option you can get. They did come like they're usually always on the 7 Series, but you can get them on E39s also. I don't know. I think this is very, very interesting and unique. And for $6,000, you're getting something fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's this one. Short and sweet for that. The interior really was the only thing to talk about there. And then the last Marketplace find of the week. This is the 2007 BMW Z4. It's not an M Coupe. It says it's an M Coupe, but it's not. I wanted to bring this up because I think these cars are like a value play right now. I think BMW isn't making anything else like this with the 6-speed. And I think it's a good time to be buying stuff like this. I think the dynamics are great. I think the driving characteristics are awesome. I'm pretty sure you're getting an M54 or an N52 in this car. So it's reliable, 6-speed, dynamic, it's fun. Has anyone driven an M Coupe before from this generation?
Not this generation. Wait, I've driven the base Z4 of this generation.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, drives well.
Yeah.
It's no Porsche, but drives well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a Porsche, but I think these cars will be desirable at some point, right? Shaun, what do you think? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I could see maybe like for maybe the next generation, it could be. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, I think they're just getting so cheap. 16 grand seems so cheap for one of these things. I don't know.
Yeah. Is that an M car in fact, or
No.
It's not an M.
Just a base Z4.
So did
the
they
base.
make a M?
Yeah, they made one with the S54, and that's the hot one.
Yeah, that's
You
really
want that.
that's really
Okay.
fun.
That's what
yeah.
you really want. This one just probably has like 280 horsepower. You know, it's probably just like a cool car to like cruise around in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just something about them. I just feel like maybe one day they'll be worth something. But
People are still buying these Z4s. BMW is making them.
oh yeah, which is weird because you don't ever see them anywhere on the road. Like you think they still have them for sale, but I literally never see them. For my brother's honeymoon, they rented one through Turo for like a road trip or something, and they seem to like it. But like I'm like that just seems like the only time I've ever even heard of one is just a rental. You know?
Yeah.
So do you pick this over an M version of this over an S2000?
I think no. I think I picked the S2000. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, like I don't know. I like these cars. I think the S2000 is more special, but these cars are so cool.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see them get more appreciation, but maybe they're just not as good as I think they are. You never see them anymore. That's for sure. But yeah, those are the member Discord finds. Once again, link down in the description below to support us via Patreon, and link also down in the description for the member Discord. We'd love to have you. It's a lot of fun. But without further ado, we'll go into the main topic of today's podcast, which is the one car solution. So we talk about this a lot, but we never really come up with like a good answer that isn't like a wagon or something. So like, why don't we talk about the ultimate one car solution, money no object, a car that you could take anywhere, take to work, take to dropping your kids off or something, take to a Carson Coffee and get some credit, take it to a track day, take it to a back road. What is that car that isn't just like a wagon? Because we always choose like RS6 or E34 wagon, or so like is there
answer.
Yeah, it's the easy answer. So is there anything that you can think of that is just like the ultimate one car solution?
Yeah, I keep thinking about BMWs when you ask that question, like the M5 or the M5 wagon. So that's the obvious answer. But if you want to be quirky, you can obviously go Italian, like the Giulias or Quadrifolios, which are still like very much appreciated in the enthusiast community. You can do Maserati Quattroporte with a support vehicle following it.
Yeah. I mean, easy answer for me would be the Ferrari FF.
Shooting
or
brake.
the GT4
Lusso.
the Lusso. Yeah,
or the new Ferrari SUV Purosangue.
It's
It's got a V12. It looks like a Mazda CX-5.
Yeah. I'm a little on the fence on that one.
Yeah.
But I like the FF or the GT4 Lusso. Yeah. V12 screaming engine. Pick up the kids. Date car.
Yeah, you can put a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supercar, the whole works.
Yeah, that's true. And FF is a good choice.
Yeah.
GTC4 Lusso is also a good choice.
Yeah. Aston Martin 4-door, like Rapide or something.
Yeah, those are always broken, but that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking E39 M5. Honestly, I think you get enough
saw
credit.
that from a mile away.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the one when I was detailing, and I'm like, honestly, like this is like the perfect like everyday car, because it's like a great dynamically. You could fit enough people in it. If you have fold down seats, you can put a shit ton of stuff in the trunk. Like it's like the perfect car. I like your answer of FF better than the A39 M5. But I'm still gonna go with the E39 M5 because that's just where my heart is right now.
I'm trying to make my girlfriend buy a Giulia when she's getting a car, maybe this year or next year.
Like a new one.
Yeah, but then that might risk her getting stranded as well.
I've heard those are really good.
Not a new one, like used, obviously. I would never buy a new car.
No. Yeah.
Used Giulia Q4 or Q2. Pretty sweet cars.
Yeah.
I'd take an M3 wagon if they ever came over here.
Yeah. Well, M3. Yeah. I mean, anyway. I mean, I was looking at that today. The only wagon that BMW offers right now is the M5 wagon in the States. It's crazy. They don't even offer regular wagons at all. Just the M5.
Just M5. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I feel like there'd be a market, but maybe not. They obviously see something that I don't. Yeah. But comment down below what your one car solution is. I'm sure that there are better ones that we have that we're not thinking of. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'd take a Panamera. Yeah, the Sport Turismo.
Sport. Yeah. Those are cool.
The wagon
But
one.
like, will it get credit at a car show? Like, you want to have it be respected at a Cars and Coffee as well.
I think Sport Turismo would.
Sport Turismo would.
Yeah.
The wagon, right?
The wagon one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to choose anything but a wagon here. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Because it's a perfect one car solution. We always pick wagons,
Yeah.
But yeah, Sport Turismo would win also. I mean, basically any wagon that's interesting. That's the problem. But yeah, so today's scenario, another own, drive, and delete. Today we're going to be doing a battle of the 2010 hot hatchbacks. So 3 cars, like usual. Owning is keeping the car forever. Driving is drive it once and give the keys back. Deleting is removing it off the face of the world and historical record. So the first car that we have today is the Honda Fit Sport with a manual. Second one is a Mark 6 GTI. Let's just make it a manual too, so it's competitive. And then 3 is a Ford Fiesta ST, also only offered in manual. So who wants to start?
I'll go.
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious answer to own is the Honda Fit, but just to be different, I'll choose the Fiesta ST with a without the wastegate tune, of course. It's like too juvenile to have that wastegate tune, because everyone I've seen own one of those cars in the Bay always has that wastegate noise going on.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I think the Fiesta ST is a really underrated car. Like, you can throw it around, like works on like tight roads and easy to park and own, and it's got the hatchback and everything. It's really fun, super fizzy and buzzy car to own. It's a different solution to the Mark 6, which is which has more personality, I think. Definitely works better probably in Europe than in the US, because it's probably not going to get the best mileage and all on highway because of how it's tuned. But yeah, I would just like go with the Fiesta ST, even though it might blow a head gasket on me, but I'll just go with that. And Fit Sport is drive and Mark 6 delete. Because the Ride GTI is Mark 7, 7.5.
Yeah, that's true. The Mark 6 is definitely not as good as the 7.
Yeah.
Shaun, what about you? What are you doing?
Oh man, I'm deleting that Ford Fiesta right off the bat. Dude, there's no doubt about it. I had a Fiesta around that same generation. I know it wasn't the ST, and I'm not sure if the STs used the different transmission in there, but God, that transmission was just the biggest POS ever.
Excuse me now.
Yeah, so that would be gone right off the bat.
Cheap interiors and everything.
Yeah, actually, the interior wasn't that bad. The interface and everything was actually pretty good looking for a compact, budget car. But man, that thing was bad.
Do you have issues with the engine and everything?
No, it was a transmission.
Okay.
It was
Ford things.
Yeah, we had it. I think we had it replaced twice.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a Ford
So
thing.
they were just notorious for bad transmissions.
Ford things.
Yeah.
Even their F-150s, Raptors and everything, they blow transmissions all the time.
Are you
right?
serious?
Yeah.
I mean, it got so bad.
One of my friends bought a F-150 Raptor from CarMax with the full warranty.
Yeah.
And like he got like $25,000 worth of work done for free.
Yeah.
And the dealership hated him. Every time he would come back in with transmission issues and they had to replace things.
I have never been in an automatic car, where just going up a semi-grade hill, if you weren't on the brake, it would literally roll back aggressive.
Damn.
And I'm like, how does that work? Yeah. Miss me with the
Built
Ford
Ford
Fiesta.
tough.
Sorry, Ford. Yeah.
Yeah.
owning, I mean, because I feel like I am the number one Honda Fit brand ambassador, is I have to stick with that. So definitely a Honda Fit Sport manual. I say after it's all said and done, is our work uses Honda Fits. I don't have any manuals, but I have a few of the sports. And my dream is I'm gonna convert one of those to a manual.
Yeah.
You should do a spec series racing with your Fit.
Yeah,
Like
You
the
probably could
Miatas.
with all the ones you have.
Miatas?
Yeah.
yeah. Or put throw an S2000 engine in there.
No, you can just use the stock engine. It's good.
Yeah, stock. Okay.
It's just rev the red line and you just never do anything else about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
I'm actually driving one today.
Yeah.
So, and then driving again because I've never driven a GTI.
Wow, really?
I'd probably go ahead and just drive one.
Yeah.
Enjoy it for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody who hasn't driven one, it'd probably be the best GTI experience ever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
The first time you drove a GTI is like, oh my God, this thing's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see any of its shortcomings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I want to own the Mark 6 because it was like one of my dream cars in high school. When it came out, it's like what I wanted. It was like a Mark 6 GTI with a manual, a 4-door with a manual. But my mom wouldn't let me get one because it was too small, and she thought it was not safe. And I did the typical, like, I created a report about how the GTI has like a 5-star crash safety rating and it's very safe and all that stuff. And I still didn't get it. Took me until college to get a GTI.
Nice.
But I've always had a soft spot for Mark 6s because it was a car that I've really wanted my whole life. I went to the auto shows, sat in them, shifted the gears, and it was like I really wanted this specific car.
Yeah.
Never got it. Maybe at one point I'll get it at some point. The Fiesta, I think I'm going to delete because I don't really think anyone would miss it, to be honest. I think if you're in a Fiesta ST, I think secretly you want a GTI.
Yeah.
It's a more premium experience, you know. Obviously, they're different sizes, so it's like you're really comparing the Focus with the GTI. But
Yeah.
in this case study, like I think you're wanting to be in the GTI. It's a more pleasant experience to live in, and I think the ST is still and both the Focus and Fiesta are kind of like tin canny.
Yeah.
And you have to do a lot to make them interesting, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to drive the Fit Sport because I've only driven the Fit Sport a couple times, Kevin's, and I know that they're fun because you could beat the shit out of them. And so I like the fact that you can ping these things off redline and hard shift and like just try to straight up street race these things and they just don't give up.
Yeah.
And so I want to like kind of beat one up aggressively and just give it back.
Do you know the only difference between the Honda Fit Sport and a standard Honda Fit?
Like body kit.
It's just probably body.
Just trim.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
makes sense. Same with the Honda Civic that I leased. The Civic
Yeah.
Sport is just a black wheels. I think that's really it.
Yeah.
I really
It's
I
like
think that's it.
placebo. It's placebo.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. Yeah,
Totally.
the Sport is nothing. I just picked Sport because I figured that like maybe you couldn't get a manual if it wasn't a Sport or something. So I just chose that just in case.
Now, I will say with the Mark 6 is I've met a lot of, jerks in my life, but I've never met a jerk that actually drove a Mark 6. It's a nice guy car.
It's a thinking man's car. Yeah, you
like
made a
really
choice.
nice, cool people,
Yeah.
drive GTIs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you made a specific choice to get the GTI because it's practical, sporty enough, and quiet enough inside.
Yeah.
When I had mine, I loved it, and I loved it for like 2.5 years until I started to be like, I don't really care enough about this car anymore to keep it.
Yeah.
So I got rid of the lease, and I it'd probably be the same thing with the Mark 6. I'd probably buy one for $7,000 and love it for 2 years, and then be like, it's like missing too much stuff. I'd rather be in a Golf R. I wish it was more power. I wish there was
Yeah.
more like interesting things about it. But like that 2-year grace period, it's an amazing car.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the majority of people that like modify like GTIs all across the board, they're typically done tastefully,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you could very easily get into like Subaru, bro, and go way too far and get a Cobb tune and go hard. But those guys are secretly wanting WRXs anyway.
Yeah.
And they just had the GTI because for some reason they didn't get the WRX.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mark
So-
6 and 7, like people are usually tasteful.
Yeah.
But I've seen Mark 5 and older ones being like totally trashed.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
slamming and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I saw R32 the other day, which is a Mark 6. and it had no exhaust on it, and someone
Oh,
downshifted and floored it, and it wasn't moving. It was, I guess they're slow, I guess, but like it's just making all this noise, and it's just like kind of like scooting past me. I'm like
Like a
God, this
two-stroke.
guy is ruining the vibe of all Mark 6s right now.
Whatever happened to there used to be a guy that had that crazy GTI build.
Yeah, I don't know
He
what
was
happened.
a Vault guy.
Yeah, he's a Vault guy. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
To him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I know that. I think that car got like totaled. I think he like wrecked it.
Yeah.
I
Or
heard-
towed.
Yeah. The word on the street was like something happened to it. I think.
Word
like,
on the
Like he
street.
was like doing something and something got messed up.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know.
They
Might
usually
not be
burn
true.
their clutches when they're modified.
Yeah. You have to. The
Upgrade
clutches
the
are
clutch.
not durable. That was one thing. I've tuned my Mark 7.5, and the one thing that everyone was saying on the forums was like replace your clutch with like a upgraded unit, or you're gonna burn through it fast. And I never did because it was a lease. I just gave it back broken, but actually I gave it to Derek and then he fixed it. But yeah, that's the own drive.
Was the blue GTI yours?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that was an amazing spec with
Yeah,
blue
so-
seats and cloth seats.
I like the interior, yeah.
So
The
like
interior was cool.
Wow.
that's a Rabbit edition.
Yeah.
And so they only came out in 2019. My dad was buying a car for my sister for her first car, and there was a Urano gray one, which is like that dark gray, like dark matty gray with the same interior. And he ended up bringing it home with my sister's car, and then I drove it, and I'm like, I fucking love this car so much. I will do anything. I'll split it with you. If you don't want it, I'll buy it from you. And then I basically messaged the salesperson, was like, hey, you made 2 sales off my dad. If you can find me that cornflower blue, I'll buy it like tonight, and you'll make 3 sales today. And then he was like, oh yeah, we got one like literally right now. It has 9 miles on it, brand new. So I literally drove back to the dealership and drove it home that same day. And I was like,
Nice.
this is the best car ever. And yeah, I love that thing. And then Derek wanted that specific spec, and I'm like, honestly, I'm thinking about getting rid of this anyway. So I gave it to him. He
And
bought my lease out.
tuned it also, right? He tuned it with
Yeah.
038, 035 Motorsports.
Yeah, so I had some cheap ass piggyback tune that was not very good, but it was a lease, so I didn't really care. Took that off. I still actually have that piggyback somewhere. He bought my lease out, and then he drove it around for a couple of years, and then he sold an upbringing trailer. I'm not sure where that car is now, but
How's a typical resale value on those things?
well, back when I sold it, it was COVID time. So
Okay.
actually, if I wanted to buy out I basically, Derek got a crazy good deal because I guess it was like the residual is 22, take it, and like give me 22, buy the lease out, and it's yours. But that thing was worth like 31, But I was nice to him, and the car sold for. I bought the car. I got the lease for 31. It had not moved at all
Nice.
because of COVID. Nowadays, it's probably worth like 12.
Nice.
They depreciate heavily after like 30,000 miles.
Okay,
but
yeah.
that time period, the GTIs were like my dad sold his to CarMax for a profit after 30,000 miles.
Is this generation? Are these the last manuals?
The Mark 7.5 had a manual, and the Mark 8 still has a manual,
Okay.
but you would have haptic feedback touch screens and stuff.
Okay.
So the one to get is the Mark 7.5.
The Mark 7. Okay.
And there aren't going to be any more manuals after this.
That's what I'm saying,
So the Mark 8 is the last if you want a manual, but Mark 7.5 is really the one you want to get that full GTI experience. But that'll do it for another episode of the VALT Podcast. We'll see you guys next week for another episode, unless we have anything else.
Sweet.
That's good.
Good.
All right. We'll see you
Welcome
next
back.
time.